This year, Gout did this and did this. I'm going to show you what makes Gout so fast, how you can improve your speed like him, and some of the best exercises to focus on. If you're wondering why I'm talking about him, is because I've trained athletes to go 10.2, 10.5, and multiple athletes to run 4.4 in a 40-yard. The first thing we're going to cover is his technique, stride length, and max velocity mechanics. I want to break it down in a checklist of what every athlete should be aiming for during their max velocity phase and see how he measures up. The first key to upright sprinting is athletic posture. We want good spinal position and good pelvic position. Specifically, we want the chest to stay slightly in front of the hips to improve the athlete's ability to produce horizontal force. Slower athletes tend to be more rigid, while Gout has dynamic spinal movement that allows him to generate force efficiently while maintaining a neutral pelvis. Number 2 is eccentric foot strike. Next, we want an eccentric foot strike, where the foot lands slightly in front of an athlete's center of mass or directly under the center of mass. Gout does this well, landing the foot in a great position relative to his center of mass with a slightly supinate foot position. This is likely because he hasn't become weight room dominant, which keeps his movement patterns natural and efficient. Number 3 is a forward push-off. For max velocity, we need a forward push-off. Most people think that upright sprinting is only vertical force, but your body still has to move horizontally. Even though the horizontal forces aren't as high at max velocity, Gout's push-off is excellent. He covers insane amount of distance with each step, and he has impressive stride length without over-pushing. I'm not going to cover fascia in this video, but a lot of this comes from movement patterns, elastic power, and your fascia. Number 4 is fast swing leg recovery. Once the foot pushes off the ground, the leg should swing forward and up, not excessively backwards behind the body. Overstriding causes poor ground contact times and improper hip positioning, putting your pelvis into an anterior pelvic tilt. Gout has great push mechanics at max velocity, allowing his hip flexors to reflexively swing the leg forward. Athletes who spend too much time in the weight room often rely on driving the hip up with the knee, which can lead to injuries and slow swing leg recovery speeds. Number 5 is cycling and casting. Finally, we want proper cycling and casting. After the foot recovers, it should swing back towards the upper thigh, then down to knee level. The foot should cast down to maximize impact on the ground. Gout does all 5 of these things exceptionally well, but there's one other thing that keeps him in check that might be costing you your speed. Part 2, body composition. Gout is 17 years old, 6'2", and weighs 68 kilograms or 149 pounds. From his build, he's probably around 8 to 11% body fat, which is optimal for sprinting. Research shows that every 3.4 pounds of fat can slow you down by up to 0.25 seconds. Not only does body fat matter, but in track and field, so does overall weight. Most elite sprinters have low body weight and body fat, and they also don't carry unnecessary muscle. Muscle tissue that isn't functional becomes excess weight, which, as we've seen, slows you down even if it's 3 pounds of muscle if it was gained in a non-functional way. Since Gout has the genetics and training style that involves less weight room work and longer limbs, his muscle development is likely low, meaning he carries no excess weight. This leads to Gout's specific running style that helps him run fast. And if you develop this, you'll become a better athlete too. Part 3, genetics, tendons, and structure. I'm about to cover a topic that's really important for sprint speed, and I've never talked about it before. If you want me to make a full video on how to train based on your genetics for speed, then just let me know in the comments. There are 2 main types of athletes, a wide ISA and a narrow ISA. This refers to the infrasternal angle of your body and your biomechanics. Wide ISA athletes or force dominant athletes are more muscle dominant and excel in acceleration and power-based training. However, they often struggle in the max velocity phase because they lack ribcage and pelvic space for full hip extension. This limits their top end speed, specifically in the last 20 to 30 meters of a 100-meter sprint. You'll usually see these type of athletes have an anterior pelvic tilt when they're in the final 20 to 30 meters of their sprints. Now, the second category is narrow ISA athletes. These are thinner, more elastic athletes who are better at top end speed. They often rely on the stress shortening cycle and frontside mechanics in max velocity. Think of Noah Lyles. His start isn't the best, but once he's upright, he can catch anyone in the world, or another good example would be, of course, Usain Bolt. A classic example for wide ISA athlete would be Christian Coleman. He's short, stocky, and has an insane acceleration and force dominant qualities, but the second he gets into max velocity, it's not that his max velocity sucks, it's that his genetic structure limits him to be the type of max velocity athlete that a Noah Lyles or Usain Bolt can be. Gout fits the narrow ISA profile perfectly. His genetics and training style make him a top-end speed athlete, with a focus on plyometric and stretch shortening cycle development over weight room training. But none of this would matter if he was missing this one crucial thing.
If you enjoyed this video so far and you want me to apply these concepts for you, program everything for you, hop on the Speed Academy. I do your speed training, your plyometric training, your strength training, everything for you. Click the top link in the description or the pinned comment.
Part 4, ground contact times and elasticity. After analyzing Gout's low 10-second 100-meter sprint, I broke down his stride count and ground contact times during each phase. Here's what I found. His stride count is, and his ground contact time is, all these are optimal for max velocity sprinting, but they are hard to train if you don't know what you're doing. So let me give you some practical exercises to develop your max velocity speed. We're going to break down these exercises in 3 categories: strength, power, and speed. For strength, we want to build stiffness in the knee and ankle joints and develop hip extension power at push-off. Also understand there's not much you could do in the weight room for max velocity, but this is probably the best stuff possible that might have transfer. These exercises would include hip thrust push isometrics, ankle overcoming isometric pushes, glute isometric pushes, single leg calf raises, and rear foot elevated quarter squats. Now for the power side of things, we want more reactive strength and fast force production. We're going to focus on resisted pogos, bounding variations, straight leg bounds, and light resisted sprints. Or for max velocity, you can even possibly do weighted vest sprints at anywhere between 5 to 10% of your body weight. Now to develop max velocity speed, we're going to stick to the classics: flying 10 sprints, sprint flow sprint drills, 40-yard sprints, and if you're an elite level athlete, we can even kind of talk about speed endurance here, where we're doing 80 to 150-yard max effort sprints with high rest between any of these exercises. Now, if you want a full breakdown on how to train plyometrics for speed, make sure you watch this video right here.